Coming up on Mountain News this morning, find out what Bell County is doing to help slow the spread of COVID-19 after a sudden increase in confirmed cases. And we hear from health experts about how the time of year could be contributing to increases of COVID-19 cases, not only in eastern Kentucky, but across the country. Plus, the clock is ticking for Kentucky schools to figure out how they are going to safely operate when they reopen as early as next month.
Dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. Today is Tuesday, July 7th, or like we call it, Monday 2.0, and the same can be said for those temperatures that we're going to feel today. 2.0, it's like going to continue the rest of the week. Let's bring in Brandon Robinson. Like you said, air we can wear, and it's just something that we're going to have to expect now that we're in the full swing of summer, right?
Exactly. We're in midsummer now, Lacey. It's July. It's dog days. It's just the hottest part of the year, and it's going to continue all the way into August in some form or fashion. And another hot day ahead today. Let's take a look at live pinpoint Doppler radar. Little action down into parts of the Cumberland Valley. Stray showers over into East Tennessee and getting back closer to Middle Tennessee. A couple of clusters of showers there, trying to work their way into Wayne County this morning in southern Kentucky. So we'll keep an eye on those for you. US 119, US 23 at Jenkins. Pretty quiet this morning in Letcher County. Things are pretty quiet out the window, just peeked out. No fog here this morning, but some spots seeing some of that, so be aware of that. Temperatures in the 60s and 70s this morning, so basically almost where they were this time yesterday. 90 today once again. We got to 91 yesterday at Jackson. Scattered chances for showers and storms pick back up, especially this afternoon. We could have a couple of stray showers this morning as well. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. And we've now surpassed 17,000 COVID-19 cases in the state of Kentucky. The governor announced 268 new cases yesterday. That brings the total number of cases to 17,152. There are 8 new deaths, bringing the death toll to 593. 4,785 Kentuckians have recovered from the virus. For more information on COVID-19 in Eastern Kentucky, you can go to our website, WYMT.com. And Bell County now has 56 reported cases of COVID-19, but more than 30 of those were confirmed within the past few days. WYMT's Dakota Maker has talked with county officials about this recent increase.
Bell County reported its first case of COVID-19 in May. But now the county is seeing a major spike in cases.
We went, a month and a half hovering around 10 cases, and then all of a sudden last week, we've exploded.
As of Monday, Bell County has 56 reported cases of COVID-19.
The large majority of these recent cases are symptomatic, and that's problematic for us in trying to control an outbreak.
Those cases stemming from different activities, including testing that is becoming readily available.
We've had some travel, obviously, folks going on vacation. We had several cases that were born out of a church service. And then, we're having a lot more testing.
With 56 cases, Bell County Judge Executive Albie Brock considers the county a hotspot for the virus based on the population and the number of positive cases over the past 3 months.
I think the data says it's a hotspot. I think when you go from approximately 12 cases to 44 in less than a week, that feels pretty hot to me.
Encouraging community members to practice good hand washing and social distancing habits, including face coverings.
There's a common sense factor has to play in, and we're going to have to become good humans about this and realize that wearing a mask is what's going to make this go away.
In Bell County, Dakota Makris, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, Judge Executive Albie Brock also says testing is easy right now, and if you are having trouble getting one, to please reach out to his office at 606-337-3076. And the Mountain Comprehensive Health Corporation began its COVID-19 mobile testing yesterday. Mobile testing was at the Pineville Health Department, where the goal was to provide rapid testing to anyone in the community who wanted a COVID-19 test, regardless if they showed symptoms or not. The rapid test only takes 15 minutes for preliminary results.
It's going really, really well. People have been really nice and accommodating, and they understand that we're a little bit backed up. So our 15-minute rapid test It's been pushed back just a little bit because we're running them as fast as we can, but we're going to call everybody this evening and let them know that preliminary result for sure. But it's been really busy.
The mobile unit had 300 swabs on board. The center had 2 mobile units, with one in Middlesboro yesterday as well. There will be a unit in Harlan County today. Hours for the units are Monday through Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 5 p.m. And as we move deeper into July, we continue to see more cases of COVID-19 in rural and urban areas. With more things opening back up, experts say people aren't taking CDC guidelines seriously. And even though the majority of people who get the virus survive it, officials with the Fayette County Health Department warn that doesn't mean people who recover are out of the woods.
The long-term effects of COVID-19 just aren't clear because we're still short-term into this. So for the people who think, well, I'll get it, I'll recover, I'll be fine, in the short term that could be correct, but we don't know what the long-term results are.
Experts do not see this increase ending anytime soon without people making some changes to their lifestyle, like wearing a mask and continuing to social distance. And Kentucky school districts are still working on their plans to have students back on campus this coming year, and many superintendents still have a lot of questions. Public health officials met with some local school leaders virtually yesterday. WYMT's Phil Pendleton has more on what was discussed.
Schools across Kentucky will be starting up next month with a lot of unknowns, but it's a sure bet that teachers and students will be asked to wear masks.
First grade and up should be wearing a mask, a cloth mask.
State health officials had a virtual roundtable discussion with more than 20 district leaders in the Superintendent's Advisory Council. One question was, should students be required to get a COVID-19 test?
We just need to know what it is that we need to do if a kid has a fever.
Doctors did say that the CDC does not recommend that all students get blanket tested, but it's likely a lot of teachers will be asked to. And several school leaders have expressed some concern about contact tracing as far as how exactly to find all the students that just one student may have come in contact with.
In a fourth grade class and they change classes, you may be 120 students are going to go home for 14 days.
Some administrators are asking high school student athletes to quarantine for 14 days if they vacationed in South Carolina or Florida. Now there's the question of what if students just take a weekend trip.
Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg, Indiana to the pumpkin farm, wherever you name it, there could be folks going to hot spots.
School nurses will also be asked to consider moving their health rooms to provide more space, ventilation, and access to sinks. Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Education leaders say that schools will be given more flexibility as far as attendance and non-traditional education days because of COVID-19. And fewer high school seniors are applying for U.S. federal college aid amid the pandemic. In the first weeks of the pandemic, the number of new applications fell by nearly half compared to last year's levels. Officials in Kentucky say they are working hard, but are not optimistic that they will catch up with last year's numbers. Even if they do, they worry that many students who filed ultimately will not enroll in college. Kentucky alone saw a 5% decrease in its second quarter for number of applications. And Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell was in Louisville yesterday, where he met with a small group of protesters with a drum outside of Dare to Care Food Bank. McConnell was there to thank the food bank workers and says the Senate will take up another coronavirus relief bill when they return to D.C. later this month. He expects the bill to include liability from COVID-related lawsuits for businesses, schools, and nonprofits. McConnell did advocate wearing a mask, saying the most important duty everyone has is to protect themselves and their families. The senator also condemned the tearing down of statues across the country.
I think there's certainly problems with rioters and looters and people who want to tear down statues of people like Washington and Jefferson and Grant, who freed the slaves. That, it seems to me, is intolerable. I'm a big fan of peaceful protesting. That's a constitutionally protected right in our country. I'm not a fan of rioting, looting, mayhem, and tearing down the statues of the people that crafted the beginnings of this country.
McConnell says a coronavirus bill will also include funding for jobs and health care. Congressional Democrats will demand the next aid package include direct funding for states and cities who've seen their budgets decimated by lost tax revenue and COVID-related costs. A $210,000 grant was awarded to Mountain Comprehensive Care Centers in eastern Kentucky to help local veterans. U.S. Senator Majority Leader Mitch McConnell assisted in supporting the application. The federal grant will help homeless veterans find well-paying jobs and viable career paths, which will benefit both the people served and the community as a whole. Mountain Comprehensive Care serve homeless veterans with reintegration services in 49 counties of eastern and central Kentucky.
Coming up on 6:12, and we're seeing those mild temperatures once again this morning, and very muggy, as Lacey has said all morning, and we've said for basically the last month or so. It's air you can wear. Look at these dew points back close to that uncomfortable to instant sweat category, and they'll get back into the instant sweat category today. I promise you that. Headlines for the next couple of days: it's going to stay hot, it's going to stay humid, it's going to stay hazy, and it's going to keep those scattered chances for showers and storms around at least through Friday. Then we could see a weekend system that could bring us some increased rain chances. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. And thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, more states are requiring people to wear masks as the surge of new coronavirus cases continues to skyrocket in much of the country.